Hi, welcome to the second game of the first round of the Legacy Challenge I played in. I'm up against Aggro Loam. I won the first game, so my opponent is playing first, and let's get into it. My opponent keeps their 7, I do because of cantrips, land, removal, counterspell, great hand. I'm cold to Chalice of the Void, so I'm a little scared here, but my opponent just has Loam, which does nothing. The thing about Loam is, yes, it's great against your mana denial, but in reality, all it does is be tempo negative, and that's a lot worse for them than it is good for them to get another land. Loam, as you can see, only really got 2 lands. It's great for them that they got to dredge for the Renegade Rallier. They dredged into Mox, Confident, and Knight. Confident being the relevant card here, I think. So I'm going to Brainstorm in response to this. I would Daze it. That would be great for me. But instead I find Force. So my plan here is to just let it resolve. Let my opponent get back the Dark Confident, submerge it, because they have 2 forests, and then Spell Snare it on the way back down. I could of course force the Rallier, but I think the other line is a bit leaner because it denies my opponent a draw step and also takes up mana in the next turn. Shuffling away the Dismember, because it's not the greatest card. Here I'm going to Ponder. And it's going to be very hard for me to see all 3 cards because Magic Online replays are so annoying. So the Ponder is Tropical, Brainstorm, and Lightning Bolt. I'm going to put the Tropical third because that's the least valuable card. A case could be made for drawing the Lightning Bolt, but I'm going to draw the Brainstorm here instead. I'm actually not quite sure which one is better. My plan is to Lightning Bolt the Tarmogoyf, not the Tarmogoyf, the Dark Confident when it comes down, but it could also be better to just Lightning Bolt it. I'm not sure if I said Lightning Bolt or Snare it the first time, but the plan is to Snare it when it comes down again. It could be better to Lightning Bolt, but I prefer keeping the Lightning Bolt for Thalia, which of course also gets snared, but or Deathrite Shaman. There are a couple of things I like the Lightning Bolt for. My opponent's face sometimes. So I'm drawing the Brainstorm. Submerge. My opponent draws Confident again. I snare that. My opponent then has Loam for 1 land, which I'm perfectly fine with. I'm going to Ponder again. The third card was the Tropical Island. Oh, actually, interesting. So I shuffled my last Ponder, but I still drew the Brainstorm I had on top, which is interesting, I guess. This Ponder, if I remember correctly, I went over this replay earlier, the other card was also a land, so this Ponder is also a shuffle. Shuffle, draw Nimble Mongoose, ideal draw. Ponder again into Force Lightning Bolt Wasteland, which is very good. But I think I'm actually shuffling that as well. Yeah, and I draw Tropical, Nimble Mongoose. And my opponent has more lands. Loam I still don't care about because it's still tempo negative. Now my opponent has, I think, 3 lands in hand. Who cares? I have Ring to kill my opponent's creature. Now they blow up the Tropical. I'm going to Brainstorm with it, although only after it dies. This Brainstorm, the card I do not want is Tropical. And I have the Flooded Strand to shuffle it away, so that's great. You get to keep Ancient Grudge in case my opponent has Chalice, and then I have True Name with Force backup or Counterspell backup if my opponent does nothing relevant, turn a cast True Name. End of this turn I get to kill the Relia, so I'm firmly ahead in the race. Unless my opponent does something else I need to deal with. So here's True Name. And yes, theoretically my opponent does have me in waste lock now. But that's not relevant because I have 6 power on the board and my creatures are untouchable. Which is, in my experience, how this matchup goes, and why Life from the Loam is not great against Canadian Threshold. You simply can't afford to take off that much time. My opponent, not even bothering with the Loam, they drew Tabernacle instead. I will pay for it, leave the Volcanic untapped in case I draw a Lightning Bolt, which is in fact what's happening. I take them down to 5 and now they're dead on board with the Lightning Bolt in hand and force backup. So they play something Knight, I think. Knight, and I instead bolt them and they just concede. Yes, that's in my experience how the matchup goes. The deck is very cold to True Name Nemesis. They have, I don't know, like 4 cards or so that deal with True Name, and you're very good against basically everything they do. Loam is super clunky. The deck is all non-basics and expensive spells and removal spells that can't touch your creatures. So I like the matchup. I think Canadian Threshold is firmly ahead. And yes, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this, and see you tomorrow with the next round. Take care.